Hello everyone, thanks for joining me for another video looking through the music that I've loved and been inspired by over the years. On the letter G, and we're into Genesis at the moment. So this is the third video that I've done for Genesis, and this is live stuff basically down the years. I mean, as far as Genesis are concerned, brilliant live act. I think their longevity is largely attributable to the fact that they were a brilliant live band, whether the Gabriel era or the later Collins era. They were just brilliant musicians and just presented the music in a stunning way visually, whilst staying authentic to the music. So I think Genesis as a live act, yeah, superb. That's not to say that every show I went to see them I enjoyed. I remember in '81 we took a coach to Frankfurt, I think it was, some horrendous cattle shed out in the middle of nowhere, piled us in through rusty gates and turnstiles, plonked us right at the back, couldn't see a thing, the sound was dreadful and the music was pretty horrible on that tour for me. So that was not a good experience, but it was a fun trip to do, I suppose. Yeah, pretty much every other show I've seen them at, really enjoyed. Wembley '87 was just for the sake of a day out, really. My friend's father had passed away not long before the show, so it was never going to be a fun-filled day, but it was just a day out, and yeah, it was a sunny day. That's all you can say about that, really. But proper Genesis that wasn't, and I've seen enough proper Genesis shows to know how brilliant they were. Never saw them in the Gabriel period, strangely enough, except Milton Keynes in '82. So don't waffle on in. I'm just basically presenting a load of live material from CDs that I've got. It extends to about an hour and a half in total, but it's been one of the most difficult videos I've had to do because, to be honest, I've had to cut out loads and loads of stuff, and this is despite the fact that a lot of the material I wanted to put on, I realised I hadn't got the CDs anymore. So when I used to have thousands and thousands of bootleg CDs and sold them all, I forgot that even some of the best Genesis ones I'd sold, so I've only got a smattering left. So these are taken from mostly bootlegs, a couple of official tracks might be there, but all live versions of music, Genesis tracks from down the years. I've tried to put it in some kind of rough chronological order, which should make a bit of sense. There's some there's some nice stuff from '78 from a soundboard from France. There is some stuff from the rehearsals for the Milton Keynes show, which is really nice quality. I was going to put some stuff from the Milton Keynes show itself, but in the end the quality just wasn't good enough. Although I quite enjoy listening to that CD of the show, your ears are tuned to it after a while and you get used to it, and because I was there, so I can remember what it was like, but to put a clip of that recording onto this wasn't working, so decided not to proceed with that. But you've got some stuff from '72, '73, didn't bother with any Lamb stuff this time. Sadly, I don't have any of the '74 tour on CD anymore. Can't believe it. It's got plenty on vinyl, of course. But we've still got stuff from that era from later performances. So then we've got 78, some stuff from 80, 82 and 84. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. It's the sound quality varies, obviously being bootleg stuff, but by and large, hopefully it comes over okay. And yes, so here's a mishmash of Genesis, but hopefully going from early till later period, and yeah, my little tribute to Genesis live. What a great band they were. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Is it really true what they're saying? Are you really sure? No, nobody's come for me. When I'm walking home, there is no one. Once there was a house full of laughter, so warm. There is someone who will care when I need it. I will now receive my comfort, conjured by the magic power of wine. And then I'll drink and I'm feeling alright. Just a drink, and then I'll drink and I'm feeling alright. Just a drink, take my sorrow. Just a drink, I do that for tomorrow. Just a drink, to make me feel like a man. Now I'm down. When I walk outside, there is nowhere. Children follow me with their laughter, so cold. At the churchyard, casting just a glance at my painted female friend. Now I'm on my way, I am falling, got to find some help. I need that now. I will now receive my comfort, conjured by the magic power of wine. Just drink, and then I'll drink, and I'll feel alright. Just a drink, and then I'll drink, and I'll feel good. Just a drink, take my sorrow. Just a drink, I do that for tomorrow now. you tell me where my country lies? Cried the uniform to his true love's eyes. It lies with me, cried the Queen of Maybe, for her merchandise he traded in his price. Paper late, cried a voice in the crowd. Old man dies, the note he left was signed Old Father Thames. It seems he drowned, selling England by the pound. Citizens of hope and glory, time goes by, it's the time of your life. Easy now, sit you down, chewing through their wimpy dreams. They eat without a sound, digesting England by the pound. Young man says you are what you eat well. Old man says you are what you wear, well. You know what you are, you don't give a damn. Bursting your belt, that is your homemade sham. The captain leads his bounce right on through the night. Join the dance, follow on to the ground sunsets in the moon. Follow on to the gold is gold, dancing out with the moonlit light. Knights of the Queen shields down and shout. There's a fat old lady outside the saloon, laying down a credit card. She plays Fortuna. The deck is uneven right from the start. All of the hands are playing a part. The captain leads his dance right on through the night. Join the dance, follow on to the clear sunsets in the moon. You're the show, off we go with you. Play the hobby horse, I play the fool. We'll tease the bull, we can loud and loud, loud and loud. Follow on to the clear sunsets in the moon. Follow on to the gold is gold, dancing out with the moonlit night. Knights of the Queen shield stamp and shout. The path is clear, though no eyes can see. The course laid down long before. And so we've got to mend. The sheep remain inside their pen, though many times they've seen the way to leave. He writes majestic past homes of men, cannot all gaze with joy to see reflected there the trees, the sky, the windy fair, the river as blind as below. The mountain cuts off the town from view like a cancer growth is removed by skill. Let it be revealed. A waterfall, his madrigal, an inland sea, his symphony. The songs urge the sailors on to lure by the silence cry.
as the river dissolves in the sea. So Neptune has claimed another soul, and so with gods and men, the sheep will remain inside their pen until the shepherd leads his flock away. The sands of time will roll you by, the rivers of constant change.
Listen to me, don't you run away now. I am afraid of dreaming like this with you. Making noises, not in a very friend, hurting me. I'll trick you and I'll kick you into my side. You better watch out, you better watch out. Oh, I got you, you never get away. Walking home that night, sad across my back, the sound of sobbing on my shoulder. When suddenly it stopped, I opened up the shop. All that I had, a pool of bubbles and tears, just a pool of tears. Why? I don't know why. Just a pool of all in all, you are a very dying race. Racing close upon you away. You never had the things you thought you should have had. And you're not giving up. And all the while through the tide, you till the morning on the ground. Oh no, 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 don't cry, don't cry. Sun, the cooling wind, the snowflake drifting on the breath of the breeze, the lightning bolt that frees the sky for you. Yet only eagles seem to pass on through. The words of love, the cries of hate, and the man in the moon who seduced you and finally loosed you. You climb upon a burning road to escape the mob below, but you have put the flaming out so that others could now follow, to be out of the bounds and the bars of those who do not wish you well. You must blaze a trail of your own, unknown, alone. But keep in mind, don't live today to tomorrow like you were immortal. The only survivors on this world are the warming sun, the cooling rain, the snowflake drifting on the breath of the breeze, The lightning bolt that frees the sky blue. Yet only who seem to pass on through. The words of love, the cries of hate, and the man in the moon who seduced you finally loosed you. Disillusioned now as you realize at last that all you have accomplished here will have soon all turned to dust. You dream of a future after life. Well, that's just maybe, I don't know, but you can't take what you left behind. All alone, but keep in mind, don't live today to tomorrow like you were immortal. The only survivors on this world of ours are the warming sun, the cooling wind, snowflake drifting on the breath of the breeze, the lightning bolt that frees the sky from you. Yet only who seem to pass on through. The words of love, the cries of hate, and the man in the moon. Bluebells come in every size, some are wise and some are otherwise. They've got pretty blue eyes. For now, a man may change. For now, her face looks strange, looks strange, looks strange. Marching to the promised land. you by the hand, pull you down on the knees while I'm down the pool of peace. The face in the water looks up. She shakes her head as if to say, it's the last time you look like today. Hey, sing away, away. The ripples never come back. They've gone to the other side. Sing away, away. The face that launched 1,000 ships is sinking fast. That happens, you know. Yes, the water gets below. Seems not very long ago. Lovelier she was than any that I know. Angels never know it's time to close the book and gracefully decline. Now the song has found a tale. My, what a jealous fool is she. And the face in the water looks up. She shakes her head as if to say that the bluebirds are all gone away. Yeah. Sing away, away. The ripples never come back. They go to the other side. Look into the pool. never come back, come back. Belong to the other side. Look into the pool. Yes, the ripples never come back. They never come back. Time to run, go to the top, see the light. Yes, the light to the other side of the ripples never come back. They never come back. Sail away, sail away. Ripples, they never come back, they never come back, never come back. Sail away, away. They never come back, never come back, never come back. Sail away, away. $50,000 men were sent to do the will of one. His claim was phrased quite simply, though he never voiced it loud. I am he, the chosen one. In his name they could slaughter, for his name they could die. Though many the world believed in him, still more we sure he lied. But they'll fight that battle on. Then one whose faith had died fled back up the mountainside. But before the top was made, a misplaced footfall made him stray from the path prepared for him. Above the mountain, onto a wilderness of ice. This unexpected vision made him stand and shake with fear. But nothing was as bright compared with those who saw him appear. Terror filled their minds with awe. Simple were the folk who lived upon this frozen way. So not surprising was their thought, this is he, God's chosen one. He's come to save us from all our oppressors. We shall be kings on this world. let me rest for a while. Oh. He walked into a valley all alone. There he talked with water and then with light. travel across the plateau of ice up to its edge, and then they crossed the mountain range and saw the final plain. Still he urged his people on, a distant slope, he observed one widowed hope. Flee back up the mountainside, he thought he recognized him by his walk and by the way he felt, and by the way he stood up and vanished into air. who guided you this far. All you know and all you feel. Nobody must know my will, for nobody would understand, and you kill what you feel.
Thank you.
like the dust settles on me. I must find a new home. Ways and hopes that used to give me shelter, they're all as wrong to me now. Oh, but I'm in such a way just to hear your call. I'm off upon the staircase and this one used to know before. 'Cause I miss you.